Télérama.
John Ford and myself.
Little John is running on a bus.
This is Neil Young and myself.
Taking all he can for his buzz.
This is the end.
Where I call the boats in. Come on in here. Watch out for those monkeys. You know they're those green monkeys bite. You know. Oh, don't be alarmed about the bodies and so on. And I'm an American. You got a cigarette. Blah blah blah. And it's that whole thing when I introduce them to the decapitated heads and go on up, and I say he's out with his people. Kurtz is out with his people in the jungle and so on. Yeah, well, that was like France. We had no ending to the movie Apocalypse Now, so we improvised the whole end. And when Marlon came, Francis and he shut the whole company down, went out and Francis read Heart of Darkness to Marlon, and at the end of it, he came back and he said, Marlon and I have decided that you have a part in the picture as big as Marlon's, maybe bigger. But and you're a photo news journalist, because in the book Heart of Darkness you never see the Kurtz character, you never see the Marlon Brando character, you only hear about him. And the guy that explains it is a Russian Jew who's got all these bags with shrunken heads in it and stuff he's gotten from Kurtz. And you know, so I said, oh, well, you're talking about, and he said, I want you to have all these cameras and everything, but you don't really ever, you know, you sort of don't know how to use them anymore or whatever, and you know, you just have a lot of cameras on, and you're totally crazy. And I said, oh, you're like Ouspensky's The Fool, because Ouspensky did these tarot cards, and The Fool, he said, was he had all these bags on him, all these magic, he had all the secret wonders of the world in these bags, but he couldn't remember how to use them. So that was sort of the image that I used for my character. And then every day we improvised. Every day Francis would sit down, write something, and he'd say, okay, here, we'll start with this, and we'll start improvising. So we just improvised. He wouldn't let me have any film because he was afraid that I would release my photographs before he got the movie out. So I didn't take one still photograph, the whole picture. I had all these cameras, no film. The Bass family in Texas ordered them, and so Andy called me, and this is a photograph that I took of myself in Peru when I was directing the last movie, and I sent it to him, and so he made the silk screens out of that, and then the Basses bought it, and the one on the right, the red one, belongs to Ed Richet. And the blue one on the left belongs to me. I don't know where the other three are.
Little John is running on a bus. Oh, can't you see it's true? Can't you see it's true?
Now, double standard. This is a photograph I took at Doheny and Santa Monica, looking down Melrose and Santa Monica. And down at the other side of this were where all the art galleries were that started in Los Angeles in the 50s. And I took this in 1961. And it was just the beginning of us really being involved in art and changing things. Ed Keenholz had started, and Wallace Berman, and the Ferris Gallery had started. And Andy Warhol in 1962, a year after this was taken, would have his first show in Los Angeles of the soup can paintings at the Ferris Gallery. But the Pompidou pointed out the birth of a new art capital in Los Angeles was 1955 to 1985. Before 1955, we really didn't have any art. I took this in '61, and they used this as their icon for the show. On the side of the Pompadour, there's a billboard. Really was far up from me, but this photograph has really had a bizarre life. It's probably the most famous photograph that I took, and we were so backward in Los Angeles that the Los Angeles County Museum bought a Jackson Pollock in 1963. This is 2 years after this photograph was taken, and the board of directors got together and said, you can't exhibit this because this is communist propaganda. Jackson Pollock was communist propaganda, hello. And, you know, and the curator said, well, I bought it for educational reasons. And they said, well, then show it to people in the back and educate them in the back, not in the galleries. You can't show this. This was 1963, so that's how backward. And this was Los Angeles County Museum. So that's how backward we were at that time. But it was a great thing because we had all these things to fight against, and we had no real boundaries. And we all were in love with Marcel Duchamp and Max Ernst and Man Ray, so we were already sort of into conceptual and surrealism.